the distance between tears and laughter. Charlie Chaplin once said, "Life is a tragedy in close-up and a comedy in long shot." That one line contains the whole spiritual curriculum. When the lens is too close, the world looks like pain. When it pulls back, it starts to look like forgiveness. In close-up, the ego holds the camera. It zooms in on every wrinkle, every loss, every bruise, saying, "Look how real this is." That's the microscope of separation. The ego edits life frame by frame, cropping out the eternal to focus on the temporary. It insists that the pixel is the picture. The close-up is identity under a microscope. Me, mine, my suffering. A Course in Miracles calls this looking through the body's eyes. The body sees fragments, not wholeness. It sees birth and death, success and failure, all as equally serious events. The ego trembles at every close-up because it knows if the camera ever pulled back far enough, the entire tragedy would dissolve into light. The mind believes the zoom-in gives clarity, but really it gives distortion. Every tear magnified, every slight exaggerated, every scene taken out of context. That's why Chaplin's comedy works. He made the pain big enough to see the absurdity of it. Now shift to the long shot. Suddenly the same story that broke the heart now provokes a smile. The breakup, the bankruptcy, the death, all flatten into a wider perspective. Distance becomes compassion. It's not that the suffering never happened, it's that the viewer remembers it was only a movie. In the long shot, the mind stops identifying with the actor and starts identifying with the dreamer. This is what the Course calls rising above the battleground. To rise above doesn't mean to escape life, it means to see it from a higher vantage point. When the camera lifts, judgment dissolves. Every character, villain or victim is seen as playing a temporary part in a shared dream. The laughter isn't mockery, it's the sound of recognition. When the Son of God remembers to laugh, the war ends. Think about it. Laughter and tears are not opposites. They are twins born of the same disbelief. Both come from realizing that what you thought was real never was. One expresses sorrow at the loss, the other relief at the remembrance. The close-up mourns illusion. The long shot forgives it. Imagine a theater. The ego insists the screen is reality. It shouts at the actors, argues with the plot, demands alternate endings. The Holy Spirit sits beside you, popcorn in hand, whispering, "You know this isn't real, right?" That whisper is salvation. That moment when you stop gripping the armrest and start chuckling softly to yourself. That's awakening. The Course says, into eternity, where all is one, there crept a tiny, mad idea, at which the Son of God remembered not to laugh. Every tragedy is that forgetting replayed. Every miracle is the remembering. The Holy Spirit doesn't edit the film. He changes the way it's viewed. You start to see that no matter how dark the scene looks, the projector is still light. So what does the Truth Factory reveal? That the microscope belongs to the ego and the telescope belongs to the mind that forgives. When you zoom out far enough, you stop needing to fix the story because you realize you were never in it. The mind laughs not because suffering is funny, but because it was never true. Pull the lens back today. Look at the so-called failures, betrayals, and endings from one level higher. From that height, you'll see the comedy of trying to control a dream. You'll see the holiness in every so-called mistake. You'll start to understand that every tear was really a rehearsal for joy. Because in the long shot, the divine wide angle, nothing went wrong. The camera was just too close. Portrait of a world filmed in close-up. Every wrinkle exaggerated. Every heartbreak under a microscope. A world where tragedy sells better than truth because the camera never dares to pull back. But somewhere, beyond the lens, beyond the lights, beyond the trembling frame of self, there waits another view. The long shot. The angle of forgiveness. A place where comedy is born not from cruelty, but from clarity. Where the mind that once wept begins to laugh, not at the pain, but at the belief that pain was ever real. In this theatre, the projector is not fate, but choice. And the film is not your life, but your dream. You've been watching a production directed by the ego and edited by fear. But you can always change the real. Just ask the Holy Spirit to take the camera. He'll pull back the frame, widen the view, and reveal that the tragedy was only a trick of focus. For in the longest shot of all, the one called eternity, there was never anything to cry about, only light remembering to laugh. Welcome back to the Twilight Zone.